So, Grand Slam track finally upon us. The first slam is going down Kingston, Jamaica, April 4th to the 6th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was, of course, just down in Kingston for the high school boys and girls champs. Shout out to all y'all that I saw at the stadium, and it was beautiful. Track was amazing, all of it. So, of course, coming back down for Grand Slam track, there's no way I'm going to miss the first event of Grand Slam track. Now, I've already done the men's short sprints prediction, so if you haven't already, check out that video. But in this video, I'm going to be giving my full predictions all the way down top 8 for the women's short sprints, including who will finish where in both the 100 and 200, as well as who will ultimately be crowned the winner of the first slam. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to Citius Mag on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, as we're going to have tons of content throughout the entire week leading up to and during Grand Slam track. And if you haven't already, also subscribe to me here. I'm of course going to be having these predictions coming out, and of course I'll have some stuff afterwards as well. And as always, this is just my personal opinion. These are my predictions based on my own analysis as of Monday, March 31st. This comment section is for you to give me your thoughts and predictions. So go down, let me know what you think, and of course, give me your predictions. So let's dive in with the women's short sprints. And in the field, we actually only have 3 racers: Brittany Brown, Daryll Neita, and Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. Now, on the other side, there's 7 challengers: Alana Reed, Jacious Sears, Tamara Clark, Jody Ann Williams, as well as Kemba Nelson. Remember, Gabby Thomas, she's part of the short sprints groups, but for Kingston, she's actually moving and running up in the long sprints group for this slam. So with the 100 meters going off on Saturday evening, who do I have taking the win here? Well, it may be shocking, but I'm picking Jacious Sears. Yes, the newly minted pro who went on a complete tear during the indoor season in the 60-meter dash. She, of course, ran 10.77 seconds last year in April while she was at Tennessee, but got injured after that, so she had to shut down her season in 2024. But at the top of this year, she has really been, super consistent in the 60, winning in Boston, New York, and then a super close, second place race at the USA Indoor Championships, essentially proving that she didn't lose a step when it comes to her talent and ability to compete against some of the best in the world. On top of that, she chose to skip World Indoor Champs, seemingly in favor of running at Grand Slam, so she will likely be very, very ready. Again, outside of having the fastest personal best in the field, Jacious has run the best 2025 so far, in my opinion, which is why I'm giving her the 100-meter win. But in second place, this is where I'm slotting in Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. Now, though she'll be opening up her season here, Melissa has proven capable of running well early on in the seasons. 2024, she ran 11.19 into a headwind in Miramar, then followed that up with a legal 10.94 at Tom Jones, both of which were in early April last year. So she clearly can run fast at this time. But on top of that, she can compete with the best at any point, right? Bronze medal at the Olympic Games last year, second place at US Olympic trials. So Melissa is one of the best, and I think that she'll kick things off very, very well in the 100 meters. But I give Jacious the win specifically because she has had a great indoor season, whereas Melissa will just be opening up her year in Kingston. Now, third place, this was kind of tough, but I'm ultimately giving it to Brittany Brown, and here's why. Brittany actually hasn't run many early 100s and 200s in the past few years, but she has primarily dipped her toes into the 400s before dropping down into the shorter sprints kind of in like late April or May or something like that. But 2 things stick out to me when it comes to Brittany Brown. First, she is coming off a legendary 2024 season, which saw her make the Olympic 200-meter team, win an Olympic bronze medal, win the Diamond League 200-meter final, and then later on win the 200 and finish second place in the 100 at Athos all the way in September. Essentially, Brittany has tons of momentum coming into 2025. And sure, this is her season's opener, but the second thing that stuck out to me is in 2022, when she did run some early hundreds, she dropped a 10.99 in early April. Yes, this is a few years back, right? 3 years at this point. But that tells me she is more than capable of running fast at this time. And she already is much better of an athlete 3 years later. So yes, Brittany Brown, she gets my third spot. Now, Daryll Neita, I think it was very, very close, but I gave her fourth. And honestly, I can switch her and Brittany if I was really nitpicking. Now, Daryll, she's run very well in April, having won the 200 at the Suzhou Diamond League last year. And then she also went on to run 10.98 seconds in the 100 in Doha early May last year. But I think Daryll has shown a little bit more consistency in the longer sprints like the 200 and even some 150s, talking about kind of this early season, than she has in the 100 specifically when compared to the 3 other women that I have ahead of her, right? Jacious Sears, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, and Brittany Brown. Now, just below them, I think Jody Ann Williams Williams and Tamara Clark will come up for 5th and 6th respectively, while Alana Reed and Kemba Nelson, they're probably going to round out my field in 7th and 8th. Now, Jodianne Williams, she has had a pretty good 2025 season where she ran 7.07 seconds outdoors in the 60, and then she made it to the semifinals at the World Indoor Championships in the 60 as well. That kind of does tell me that she has some momentum going into the outdoor season now, and she'll likely be able to show up, especially at home in Kingston here. Tamara Clark, she has kind of been, I don't know, a little up and down in terms of her consistency in the sprints over the past kind of 3 years at this point, right? Since about 2022. And though she is very capable of running fast against top competition, I think that inconsistency is something that's kind of, keeping me a little hesitant of making her, putting her a little bit higher. But Tamara has been known to do well at Texas Relays around this time of year in the past. So it wouldn't surprise me if she finished a bit higher up than I have her here. Now, Alana and Kemba, unfortunately, they just haven't done as well against top names over the past kind of 2 to 3 years at this point. Alana probably has done a little bit better, and though she is the World U20 champion from last year, Kemba has also been a dominant force in 2022. I think just when it comes to this 100-meter field, they're unfortunately going to be my last picks. Now, moving on to the 200, which goes down on Saturday night, this is where I actually have Daryll Neita taking the win. Honestly, just like I said before, it's kind of like by a hair. I suspect most of y'all will probably pick Brittany Brown, but it goes back to what I noted from that early season form. Daryll has tended to do a little bit better in the 200 early on, considering last season she went to China and she took down a high quality field in April. I think she'll do similar here in Kingston. And then after not winning the 100 again in Kingston, I think Daryl's going to be able to come back on Sunday and really turn things up in this 200. But like I said, I think it's really just a hair over Brittany Brown, who I'm going to have taking second place here. Circling back to what I said before, Brittany has the momentum coming off the 2024 season. She also has run fast early in the past, but I think she'll come up just short in this first slam. But honestly, I could flip Daryll or Brittany for first or second in this 200, and both of them could surprise me in either direction. Now, third and fourth, I'm looking at Melissa Jefferson-Wooden and Tamara Clark, respectively, again, for third and fourth. Melissa doesn't actually have a kind of fast 200-meter personal best on paper, where she's only run 22.46 back, I think, when she was still in college, right? But that indicates to me that she has some untapped potential, considering how much she has grown and developed over the past couple years, right? I think the important thing here is, outside of the time, Melissa is truly, truly competitive. She'll, in my opinion, of course, be explosive out of the blocks, and she won't back down from a fight to the finish. But that won't be enough to take down, I think, Brittany or Daryll for the top two spots. So, fortunately, giving Melissa the third spot here. Now, Tamara, on the flip side, she does have a very fast personal best of 21.92, and she actually finished 5th place at the 2022 World Championships in Eugene. And she's even run some windy fast times at Texas Relays around this time of year. But as I noted in the 100, Tamara isn't as consistent in the past couple years, so I really couldn't put her into that top 3. But her talent is truly undeniable. Now, moving on, Jacious Sears, she gets my 5th spot in the 200, as kind of despite her 22.45 personal best from a few years ago, she is much better of an athlete now and likely much faster as well. Honestly, I don't know, I could have switched Tamara and Jacious, but Tamara's slight experience, right, in those bigger races over the past couple years, she had, me keep Jacious in 5th place. Also keep in mind that Daryll, Brittany, and Melissa, they are racers, so they're going to get those preferred lanes of 4, 5, 6, and 7, while everyone else, they're challengers, and they'll be randomly drawn in other lanes. So for me, Melissa gets a slight advantage despite a similar 200-meter personal best to Jacious, right? Pretty close. Now, finally, this does kind of hurt, but I have to put the 3 Jamaican women, Jodianne, Kemba, and Alana Reed in 6th, 7th, and 8th place respectively. The 3 of them, unfortunately, just simply are not great 200-meter athletes on paper. Jodianne has a 200-meter best of 22.69 from last year, while Kemba and Alana have run 22.74 and 22.95 respectively, both all the way back in 2022. So it's really hard for me to put them truly in the mix with the others, just going based on what they've done, right? But anything is possible, especially considering they're competing at home in Jamaica. So with all the points totaled up, Daryll Neita, she gets the overall Kingston Slam win with 17 points, while Jacious Sears comes up for second with 16 points. Brittany Brown, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, they're tied for 14 points, but based on the rules, because both have the same placings across both events, it goes down to the lower combined time, which, in my opinion, I think Brittany Brown will ultimately take that tiebreaker. I think Brittany is more capable of running a closer time in the 100 to Melissa than Melissa is capable of doing in the 200 to Brittany. I think Brittany, of course, is a much better 200-meter runner. similar. But finally, Tamara, Jodianne, Alana, and Kemba, they round out my final spots where specifically I think Kemba will take 7th place with a faster combined 100-200 time once things are actually added up in the slams. But as I always say, these are just my personal opinions and my predictions. And if you haven't already, check out Coach Rob. He has our kind of high-level conversations on the short sprints and our picks that we were kind of making a few weeks back, which kind of complements this more in-depth breakdown on my end after I went through all the numbers and all the details and things like that. But as I say, it's now time for you to go in the comments. Let me know what you think about the men's short sprints. And if you think, I don't know, I made the right picks, or if you think they're completely off and you have some completely different predictions, right? And sure, some of you may complain, some of you may say I'm crazy, but again, try and do a full breakdown of every single athlete in both events. It's not that easy, y'all, but it's just my opinion. So always, be sure to like the video if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Always appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.